alive.
Do I see dead people? Can I see one? Oh,
What's going on?
it's oh
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back.
my goodness! Guess who's back? Back again.
Tell
Skipping.
your friends.
Tell a friend. Yes, my man, my brother from another mother, the one and only Skip. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I couldn't the Brandon Ingram news brought me out of hiding. I could not stay down for that. So
Well,
let's
let
get
me
into
intro.
that. Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
intro. Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To the Point with
Skip.
and the King. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, now on TikTok, YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. And we appreciate that. Keep getting us the subs because we're trying to get to 750 to give away this to one of you people that actually love the city of Toronto and love the Raptors. Okay? And I brought back from the dead. I actually had to go to the cemetery and dig it up. But I brought back Skip because he's got something to say. He's been rolling in his grave. Bars. Don't
Yeah,
hate the player,
yeah.
hate the game. Right? But Skip, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I've had a good couple years. I've been sucked back into the restaurant industry, but that's just how life takes you. So yeah, no, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah? I know you wanted to come back for this one.
Yeah.
Even
Well, I
though it's
mean, I
been
got
over 6 years and a month since we started this.
yeah. So this is our belated anniversary episode, I guess. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we could say that. But yeah, Skip, let's get right the fuck into it. Because you know we are to the point. So let's get to the point.
right.
Okay? Now, the trade deadline came and gone. And now
Yeah,
that the Toronto Raptors have made a couple moves, right? But the biggest move that they have made between Masai and Bobby, people keep forgetting Bobby is the GM. I hate this. I hate seeing this
yeah. All the
online.
all the talking heads. Yeah,
Yeah, all Masai. No, Bobby's the actual GM. Okay, let's get that straight. Let's put that on concrete. Let's set it, bury it, and keep it where it's going. But the biggest trade that the Raptors made was sending Kelly Olenyk and Bruce Brown, which I think we all knew that we're going to be leaving the Toronto Raptors in to New Orleans for Brandon Ingram. Now, Skip, I'm going to lean back. I'm going to fat Joe and lean back and let you go off on this one, buddy. What do you think?
well, you forgot to mention the first round pick and the second round pick, which are probably the much bigger assets than Olenyk
I'll
and
get
Bruce
into that
Brown.
after.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Olenyk and Brown. Brown was going to go either way. Olenyk might have stuck around, but he's not a major piece, based on where the Raptors are in their timeline. But yeah. So as for Ingram, so I heard rumors about this for a couple weeks heading into it. I'd sort of been brushing them off. I sort of was like, I don't know if I buy that. I don't know if I'm really interested. I know even like Coach Roach, who's obviously been on the show a lot. He posted a tweet about, do you want Brandon Ingram on the Raptors? This was maybe a week ago before the trade went down. And I said no. Like, I was like, I'm not that interested. But then I went back and I looked up his numbers. I looked up his age. I really kind of thought about it for a minute. And I said, you know what? Like, it's not the worst idea in the world. Like, I'm not crazy about it, but he's an interesting piece if you can get him for the right price. And honestly, I think the Raptors got him for the right price. I mean, it's one first round pick. It's probably not a great first round pick, depending how the Pacers do next year. And then it's just some old guys that were just kind of salary flotsam, really. I mean, old is doing a lot of work there, but guys that were not part of the future. And you get to bring this guy in who has all kinds of talent, all kinds of upside, and just take a shot at him. And you don't have to treat it like this is not you're going out and trading for Kawhi. You're going out, you're getting a guy who can be a piece, be a useful piece, extend him for like 3 years, have him kicking around the system and doing things that other guys on this team can't do, specifically scoring, shooting from three. And I think he's just a really good piece to bring into the mix from that perspective. There's all sorts of other issues in terms of injuries, fit, et cetera, et cetera. But this is just a young team kind of going out and being like, let's get a guy who's better than the guys that we have on the roster right now.
Do you think age plays? I'm going off script here. Do you think age plays a factor with? You might have alluded to it earlier, but age playing a factor, having Brandon Ingram come into the Raptors organization, considering a lot of these Raptors are young.
Yeah, well, it's weird because Ingram's kind of right in the middle so he's 27. So a lot of people will say, oh, he's only 27. He's young. He's still in his prime. He can be a piece going forward. But he's 27 with 8 years in the league or whatever it is. A lot of miles on his body, a lot of injuries behind him. So I think, calling him in his prime is a little bit generous. Like we're probably looking at a guy who's on the downslope, who's not going to stay that healthy for the rest of his career. So that's sort of the question of the trade is he a young 27 or is he an old 27? Because if he's young 27, then you can say, oh, he's only a couple years older than so and so. I can't. I mean, Quickly, I think is 25. He's only a couple years older than Quickly, but you can also say, well, he's kind of an older than he looks, kind of thing. So I think age is really the key to this trade because if you think of it as a young team adding another young piece, then it looks a lot better. If you think of it as a young team adding a veteran piece who's outside the window, that's a bit more of an issue. So I do have a little more to say about that, but I'll throw it back to you for a sec.
Do you think that his experience being in the league can help benefit the Toronto Raptors with this young core, considering that he is just maybe slightly older than the basic core? Do you think that can be a benefit?
I mean, I'm not so focused on that side of it in terms of like experience and leadership, if you want to call it that. I mean, I think it will be a benefit in the sense of now they have a guy. Even you look at this year.
Hold up.
Yeah.
You said leadership. So
yeah,
with the outs of Brown and Kelly, do you think that they sacrifice some sort of leadership when it comes to
probably, but I think that's not really the key. I mean, I think that this is about building a really good team eventually. I think what I was going to say is I think Ingram can come in and at the beginning of the year, the Raptors were losing every game by 2 points, 3 points. They were blowing games in the last minute. A guy like Ingram is really nice to have in a spot like that. A guy who can go get his own shot, who can finish games, who can do that sort of thing. So if that's what you mean by experience, then yes, I think that's valuable.
Okay, may I?
Yeah.
What I think the acquisition of Brandon Ingram, I think that actually does benefit the Toronto Raptors. It changes the lineup definitely with IQ, RJ, Brandon, Scotty, Yock basically being the starters and having Boucher, best bench player this year, according to the numbers. So, like Jay-Z said, numbers don't lie. He might incorporate
best Raptors bench player, I assume you mean?
Yes.
I don't know what those numbers are referencing.
Oh, okay. He's first in everything.
Oh, historically as a Raptor, he's first in everything. Yeah, yes. I did see that.
Okay, yeah. Now having Grady coming off the bench, now you got the young guys that get to bounce off of them. You got
Mhm.
the Jacoby, you know, you got Shed, you got
Agbaji.
Abaji. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, right? You got a lot of these young guys. I can go on, but I will not. You guys can fill in the blanks. And these young guys are really producing and they can actually hit it up. But now, Skip, my thing is losing Kelly O, a Canadian,
Yeah.
Orlando native. Yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
losing him, he's a big,
Yeah.
right? So when we look at it on the court, losing a big, apparently the Raptors went after, let's get into this, PJ Tucker.
Oh, the PJ Tucker trade. Yeah. So I think obviously as we all know, the Raptors made a couple little small trades on the side. They traded a pick for PJ Tucker, or not a pick for PJ Tucker. They traded Davion Mitchell for PJ Tucker and a pick, and
Yeah.
they traded
We'll get
Wiseman.
into that one.
Okay, the Wiseman thing we'll talk about later. But so PJ Tucker, the report is he's not reporting to Toronto. He's not going to play for the team. He's probably going to be waived or bought out or released, whatever that form that takes. He's going to sit at home for the duration of the time that he's employed by the Raptors. That was purely not a cap move, but just a way to get a second round pick. Basically, you can look at the Ingram trade and the second round pick they threw into the Ingram trade. They got back doing the PJ Tucker trade. But I think the more interesting thing about that is the fact that they moved off of Davion Mitchell, who, they brought him in this offseason as sort of an upside play, a guy who
Again,
was a
another
really,
veteran.
well, not even a veteran. He's pretty young. He was recently a pretty
Well,
high
for,
pick.
for the Raptors roster, that's a veteran.
Yeah, yeah. But they brought him in to take a look at him and see if he could kind of compete as a backup point guard. And he did. He played pretty well in stretches. His defense was really, really good. His offense was just really not good. And it's just really clear that Jamal Shed passed him on the depth chart, and they want to build around Jamal Shed as their backup point guard going forward. I mean, Shed really reminds me a lot of Fred VanVleet. We've heard the comparisons on the Raptors broadcast, but I watch him. I see him competing. He's thick
Veteran
bodied,
himself.
a little more like Lowry, but he's got the personality of Fred. I think they really really like what they have in Shed, and Davion Mitchell was just going to be like this extra guy kicking around, and so they were like, you know what, we're not going to keep you past this year. Go off to Miami, go compete your ass off for the Heat, and we'll just get a pick back. And I think it works out that they got because they took some picks for taking Mitchell in the first place, so they actually made money on the deal in terms of like adding extra picks. But yeah, Mitchell was fine. I didn't have any huge issues with Mitchell. He was annoying at times. He was, jacking up shots on offense, but his defense was really, really elite. And there
Skip,
were
who said he
times
was
that really
jacking off?
shone. Jacking up shots, I said. Go on. Go on, King.
No, you know what? Look, listen. I've been saying this. I've been harping on this for so many months now that the Toronto Raptors, what they currently have is a bunch of young players and it can exponentially grow, right? But you got to allow these kids to grow. And Skip, back when you were on the show a couple of years ago, we were giving Nurse hell about not allowing the young Raptors to play, right?
Mm,
The Malachi Flynn's, right? Those people, the ghosts in the past,
yeah.
okay? But not allowing them. And what I'd see now is they're allowing these young guys to play. The bench has been building.
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes, I'll say since we're so far into YouTube, 905 has been building. AJ Lawson rocking the chains. Like, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not even AJ Lawson. I mean, if you just watched the win streak last month, I think that was what really prompted this deal was that that win streak they went on. I don't know if it was 5 or 6, but they won 8 of 10 either way. And they went off, and you saw what the bench was capable of, specifically guys like Shed,
Yep.
Walter, Grady Dick. And I think they decided, like, if we can get a competent starting five together, these guys can be the next bench mob. And I think you look at the roster as it's constructed. You look at those. I've got it. Your five starters you named off. Your bench, Shed, Dick, Agbaji, Walter, Mobo, maybe Boucher in there. Like that's 5 or 6 quality bench guys. And the only issue now is that they don't really have a second big behind Pearl. Um, and you could say they're a bit shallow at power forward too, but I think I so I just to get back into roster construction a little bit, I was thinking about how you can make these pieces fit, and I think you're just going to have to cross match bench and starter minutes and have Scotty play with the bench, have Ingram play with the bench, have RJ Barrett play with the bench, just have these bigger bodies that start go into the bench lineups with have a lot of more smaller guard type players, and you can mix and match, and you can kind of bring out the best of all of these players. So I don't think the fit is as much of an issue as some people think. It's more just managing the egos, and if you have to bring a guy like RJ Barrett off the bench, is that okay, or do you maybe start him and then plug him out in the 4 minutes into the first quarter and bring him back in with the bench? I don't know how you have to do it to justify people's egos, but I think this is about bringing along the young players for sure and bringing out the best in them. And really, what they are is they're betting that these guys are ready, not this year, but next year. They're betting that these guys, like these Grady Dicks, these Sheds, these guys are going to be important pieces on a playoff team next year. Maybe not 40 minutes a night, but 10, 20, 30 minutes a night, right? So
You're preaching to the choir, brother.
yeah.
I've been saying this for so fucking long. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's like this core, the players that are currently on the roster are a good team. Coming
If
up
they're
in the next
healthy,
couple of years.
if they're healthy, that's the key. If they're healthy,
And I did say that as well. But
yeah.
since they got healthy and they got to put all the main players together, look at that win streak. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on. I've been telling y'all that out there. Y'all out there that have been doubting me, that have been talking shit and giving me shit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling you. And I think I proved you guys wrong. Okay? Right? You got to have a little bit of faith in what I keep saying is. You're thinking about your breakfast. Masai's thinking about his dinner tomorrow. Okay? That's how far.
Yeah, well, this is all about next year. We keep in mind, Ingram's hurt for a while. This is all about next year, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thinking about the dinner tomorrow. But Skip, who else did the Raptors acquire? Listen, I got to start this off by saying Dennis Schroeder. Oh my God, 4 teams in 6 days. And he said NBA is slavery. Well,
right.
They gave cash to the Raptors for James Wiseman.
The Pacers did, yeah.
What do you think about that?
That was nothing. That was so the Pacers paid the Raptors to release this guy. They were like, "We're going to release this guy. Can you do it for us?" That's all that was. And then they paid the money to do it. It was just a cap thing. No, he's not coming. He's already been released. He was hurt anyway. He was out for the year. I thought it was kind of an interesting flyer, but it was clearly just they just got paid off to do this deal. So that's really nothing to talk about. You want to talk about any of the big kahunas in the NBA this week?
Allow me, Skipper. You know I got this one up my pocket. That's why I'm rocking the purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you this. Did anybody know that Luka Doncic got traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers?
Oh, I hadn't heard.
Oh, you didn't hear this? Well, guess what? According to LeBron, or LeBum, LeFlop, he didn't hear it either. But that's cap. And I'm calling bullshit on that one.
Yeah,
Because
there's
he,
there's a lot of
the
there's a lot of
night
guns in Dallas that are going around.
he found out about it the night before while he was having dinner with his family. So
Mhm.
GTFO, okay, on that one, LeBron, and stop the cap. Like, seriously, you're the one that orchestrated this. There's not a question. Since 2022, you've been trying to get Luka to come to the Lakers. Skip, thoughts on that one, man?
Okay, so I play a lot of like sim leagues and stuff like that, like as fantasy baseball, that sort of thing. And this feels like the Mavericks trade feels like you look at Nico Harrison. Sometimes you get a new GM that'll come in and take over a team, and they'll make a couple like okay moves, and you'll kind of sit there and you watch them do their thing, and you'll be like, okay, like he's picking it up, he's okay, like, and then they'll go out and they'll trade their best player for some like old veteran and like some crappy draft pick, and everyone in the league will just flip out and be like, ban this guy, get him off the team, veto the trade, just like. What the hell is this guy doing? He doesn't understand what he has. He doesn't understand what kind of asset he's giving up. And I think that's honestly what happened here. I think Nico Harrison got so tied up in Luka's flaws, and like I can understand his flaws. I've criticized him for all the things that Dallas was criticizing him for the defense, for the bitching at the refs, for just all that sort of stuff that he doesn't feel like a championship type player because he has all these holes. But he's still like one of the best players in the league. So why are you going off and trading him in the middle of the night without telling anybody, without like putting the trade sign over his head, like without canvassing the league? Like this is one of those things where it's like if you're going to trade a superstar because maybe you don't think you're the right guy, then you go out and you get like 17 draft picks. You go out, you get another superstar. You go and you just like really push. And I think this guy just sort of like got really caught up in like I like AD. I used to work with him. Like he's a good player. And it's like, well, he's an older player. He's I mean he's good, but like he's older. He's not really the centerpiece of this type of trade. So I
The only
just
center
I
he has is his eyebrow. But go on.
yeah, well. No, AD's fine. It's just a matter of a GM kind of not knowing what he had, I
Well,
think,
see, that's the
and
other thing too.
underestimating the market. Yeah.
The assistant GM, I forget his name, but he's the all-time. Why am I blanking on his name? He's the all-time leading scorer for the Mavericks, and Luka was just about to pass him.
Oh yeah, I heard all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I think
Right, and not to mention,
I'm not gonna buy too much into those conspiracy theories. There's probably something to them, but
I'm going in a
yeah,
conspiracy, but also
yeah,
at the same time, Luka, if he finished the season with the Mavericks, he would have been eligible for a supermax contract.
yeah, of course.
Lost well over $100 million this year by
For,
being traded, which is kind of a kick in the
oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, the
and
whole thing is
especially
kind
going
of
to
a
LeBron where you can get traded anytime.
well, he's gonna take over for LeBron in LA. That's all that is because he's the next
No, no,
LeBron.
no, no. What are you talking about? The LeBron, you Bron sexuals out there. You're gonna tell me Bronny's the future of the Lakers,
Well, Bron's done, but anyway, I mean, done after this year, next year, anyway. But yeah, I think just it was a dumb trade. It was a dumb trade, but really, it was just a dumb trade because of how it was done. It's not even that they traded him. It's just they didn't tell anyone they were trading him. They didn't warn the fan base. They didn't do any of that stuff. They just really sneakily made a bad deal in the middle of the night, which is
yeah.
not how you should do
Mark
business.
Cuban didn't even know. But Skip, there's
Yeah.
also another major trade that hit the tidal wave, that caused the
Hmm.
tidal wave. All right, Jimmy Butler going to Golden
Right.
State.
Right. That
Oh,
one was weird because of all the shenanigans with Durant and Beal and all that. Um, I don't really know how I feel about it. It just seemed like Butler needed to get out of Miami, and Now Miami is going to be kind of scrappy and okay, but I don't know. And the Warriors are going to be like kind of good, but I don't know. Like neither of them are actually going to be threats, I don't think.
Yeah,
More just about making people happy.
yeah, and see De'Aaron Fox leaving Sacramento and going to San Antonio.
Yeah, that one was
That's another
interesting.
big one.
Yeah, I think San Antonio is going to be good. I don't know about right away, but
San
soon.
Antonio is going to be fucking fantastic. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
yeah. San Antonio's on their way up for sure. And
Right?
Sacramento, I mean, now they're just Raptors West with like JV, DeRozan, Zach LaVine. It's like all they're the most like mid team of all time now because they have all these guys that were just cast off who were kind of okay, who have kind of been decent in certain situations and not decent in other situations. So they're just like, what are they even doing?
Well, you see, the final question I have for you before we get out of here is now with all these trades, right, that we've seen Miami make, Atlanta make, even Milwaukee, right, even Washington, right, and the Raptors and their current position in the conference, do you think this helps and benefits the Raptors for the rest of the season based on how the Eastern Conference is? Fuck the West.
Well, everyone wants the Raptors to tank the rest of the year, so I don't want to
Yeah,
just get too
hold
far
on,
ahead of
hold
that.
on, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. You just said that right there.
Mhm.
Y'all, shut up. The Raps ain't tanking this season. There's no Cooper Flag. There's no like, no getting nothing. Okay, we're not getting the
They're
thing.
fifth right now in
No,
lottery odds. They need to stay around there.
yeah, they don't need to. Okay,
Mhm.
the Raptors are gonna show what they have and
I'm a little
how
worried that you're
they
right.
can do it.
I kind of want them to tank for another 3 months, but you might be right.
No, they need to show it. Okay,
Yeah.
and this is a statement by Masai and Bobby by saying, "Look, this is what we could do, and this is what we're
Mhm.
gonna do. And if you don't like it, that's on you."
Yeah,
Okay,
I think next
that's
year
what
is
they're
when
doing. I
next year is when you throw down. I don't know about this year.
I hate to see these fucking fair weather fans telling me all this shit about, oh, the Raptors are screwing up because they need to get Cooper Flag. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
no. Skip, final thoughts. We only got about a couple minutes on this one.
Final thoughts on what? On everything?
On the Raptors, now that the Eastern Conference landscape has changed.
I think that
You got 2 minutes, bro.
I think that for the rest of this season, you stay the course and you try to kind of lose, or at least maybe not lose, but just be 500 and stay in a good draft position. I think next year you really look at climbing the ranks and you say, we're probably not going to be top four, but I think they could be like a 6 seed next year with these moves, or maybe even a five or something like that's what you're fighting for is to get into the playoffs, out of the play and into the playoffs, but probably not like home court advantage right away, but really like get into that mix where you're not like some 500 team just fighting to get into the play in. You're actually a good team that scares people. I think that's a year away. I think this year they're still gonna be, they'll beat some bad teams now. They probably won't lose out completely, but they're not gonna be what they need to be. Next year is when you try to get everybody healthy. You try to see what this team can really do, and you let the dogs loose, really.
All right. All I gotta say is, yeah, you said 1 year. I'm saying 2 years, but
Mm.
and I'm being very optimistic with it.
I no, I think next year. I think next year they're gonna try. They might not succeed fully next year, but next year they need to be above 500. 2 years they need to be in like a play like that. They're gunning for being in the playoffs sooner than
Yep.
later with this trade.
Yep. I see them doing very well. I see the
Yeah.
core that they have, and I see the acquisitions that they've acquired at the trade
Hmm.
deadline, really as a benefit for them going forward as opposed to a regression And
Mhm.
I honestly think they can go. And speaking of progression, I'm happy you're back, buddy.
Yeah, back for the moment,
Back
but
for the moment. You fucking
yeah,
fair weather fan, you asshole. I
I
love
am.
I
I
love
turned into a fair weather fan this year. It's sad.
I love you.
Anyway, yeah,
Skip,
yeah.
Skip, we had to get out of here. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna sign us out as usual. Unless you want to.
Oh, I don't even know if I remember it anymore.
Been that long. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying what we have to say. Thank you for all your clicks, your subs, your comments. We see it and we appreciate it. So on behalf of myself, my man Skip, and the greatest producer to ever walk the face of this earth, Arturus, and you guys out there, if you are watching, we consider you to the Point family, and we appreciate all your support from the bottom of our heart. So, on behalf of all of us, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
Peace.